Hello and welcome to session 7 of Myth 5 Maths with me, Mrs. Furby. It's lovely to see you again. I hope you're feeling great and ready to go. I hope you're excited about rounding and you're ready to do lots of mental calculations to help you get there today. I'm really looking forward to today's session with you. So let's get started with our warm-up. Last session, I told you some really funny jokes and you had to work out the punchline. Well, today you're going to solve a riddle with maths questions. So I'm going to tell you the riddle. You're going to work out the answer to the questions. Each question gives you a letter, and that's going to tell you the answer to that riddle. So I'm tall when I'm young and I'm short when I'm old. What am I? Pause the screen. Answer the questions. Unpause when you're ready and tell me the answer. So I'm tall when I'm young and I'm short when I'm old. What am I? Tell me. You're a... That's right, you're a candle. Well done. Just in case you didn't know and couldn't remember what this means, and I know it's one of those things that we often forget, let's just get my pen going. Okay, this sign here means squared. So 4 squared means the same as 4 times 4. You times the number by itself. It's a squared number. So 4 times 4 equals 16. Just in case you've forgotten what that means. Right, let's have a go at another one. So what's black, white and blue? Pause the screen. And when you're ready, unpause and shout me the answer. Okay, so what's black, white and blue? It is a sad zebra. Oh, get it? Good? No? We'll see. Right, let's get going. For today, you'll need a pencil or a pen, paper, and you might want to draw your own place value grid. It might help you out, it might not. Up to you, but that is your choice if you want to use one or not. So, what is rounding? Okay, let's move my picture out of the way. Rounding is when you change a number to something easier to calculate. So it's a type of estimating. So you change the number so that you can get a rough idea of the total of something. So it could be to do with money, it could be to do with time, it could be to do people, objects, but you use rounding to sort of get a rough idea of what you're doing, and you change the number to an easier whole number normally. So it could be you round it to the nearest 10 whole number, or the nearest 50, the nearest 100,000, whatever is going to be most useful to you. But when we round to 10, and we round to a 10 number most of the time, so 10, 100, 1,000, one of those big round whole numbers, we look at the digits and we look at 1, 2, 3 and 4 together, and we look at 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 together, okay? And I want you to imagine that it's like a car or a roller coaster going over a hill, okay? Going up and up and up and up and up. And you get to this point, so say we look at the number 4, okay? We're in the number 4 and it goes up, 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 and we got here, and it's run out of steam, or it's run out of power, and it can't quite get over the hill here, so it goes back down to the whole number before. So if we had 20 here, and we had 30 over here, we would have 21, 22, what's going on with my pen today? 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we had 24 and we got up and up and up, and it hasn't quite got it. It would go all the way back down and become 20. The 25 has just about got over that hill. It's the midway point, but it's got over, so we round up. And so 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 would round up to 30. So 4 and below rounds down, 5 and up rounds up. Let's have a look at that in a bit more detail. So if we look at this on a number line, okay, we've got to start with the number 3. Okay, so the number 3, the closest, the quickest way, you can almost imagine it's like a game of 9-9 in or tag or something like that, where you've got to get to a safety zone and you have to get to your closest safety zone. So you have a look around you and you're like, you've got to get safe. What's the closest thing you're going to go to? You're going to go to the closest home, and that's exactly what the number 3 is going to do. So imagine the number 3 is trying to get safe. It's going to go to 0, which is the safest place for it to be. If it went all the way up to 10, it's got such a long way to go. But the number 8, it's much quicker for the number 8 to get to 10, to round up to 10, okay, which is the safe zone, than to go all the way back down to 0. Now 5 is in the middle. Okay, it could go this way, it could go this way. It's got the same distance between both, but 5 always rounds up. So 5 would always round up to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds down, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds up. Okay, and if you can remember that rule, rounding is going to be really, really simple for you. So let's just practice with these. So these are my one numbers that I'm going to round to because I'm round to the nearest 10. So I've got 0, 10, and 20. Okay, so the number 8. Here's number 8. What's the nearest one it's going to go to? Is it going to round all the way down to 0? No, that's too far for it to go. Going to go up to 20? No, it's going to round to 10. Let's have a look at 13. Right, where's 13? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to go that way. Not going to go down to 0. The quickest, safest place for it to do is to also round to 10. 17, where do you think it's going to go? Up or down? It's got a 7 digit on the end. Does it round up or round down? That's right, it's going to round up to 20. What about 15? Halfway between 10 and 20. How does a 5 always do? A 5 rounds up, so we're going to round that one up to 20. And 12, this one little here, that's right, we're going to round that one down to 10. And we say up and down, we're rounding up and we're rounding down, okay, or more up, less, okay, that's how we refer to it. So let's look at this in the numbers, okay, so if I've got the number 327, now if I'm looking at here, I'm still rounding to the nearest 10 number, okay, so I'm going to use my special little arrow here, and what you do is you put the little arrow with a circle on the end over the thing you're rounding to. So if I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I put it on the 10. If I was rounding to the nearest 100, I put the circle on the 100 and so on. And then this special arrow goes up and around and tells you that if you're rounding to 10, you always look at the place value column next to that number. This is the column, the ones, is going to tell us whether we're going to round up or round down, because it's this number that's going to tell you which way we're going to go. So if we look at 327, we've got 320, okay, and we've got 330. They are the nearest rounding, they are the nearest 10 whole 10 numbers, okay, we've got the 0 on the end, that is what we're looking at. So if we've got 327, what do we do with the number 7? Does 7 round up or does 7 round down? 7 rounds up, well done. So 327, we look at this one here, would round up to 330. So this would be the answer. And finding the two possibilities is one really good way of helping you make sure you know what you're looking at and to make sure you've got the numbers that you need. So let's try again with another one. So if you've got 4,314, it does not matter that the numbers are getting bigger. It makes no difference at all. These numbers, most of the time, are not going to be affected if we're rounding to the nearest 10. So we're rounded to the nearest 10, so I've put my special circle on my 10 number and I've got my arrow telling me that I'm going to look at the ones again. So let's think about what the 10 numbers are going to be. So if I've got 4,300 and it's 14, so if I go back in the 10 times table, it will be 4,310. And if I go up to the next one, it'll be 4,320. So they're the numbers I'm going for. Great. Now I'm interested in this digit here because that's going to tell me whether I'm going to round up or round down. Does 4 round up or does 4 round down? 4 rounds down, well done. So this one, 4,314, would round down to 4,310. Right. Again, the number's getting bigger. Does it make any difference? No, it does not at this point. 93,495. Again, we're rounding to 10, so I've got my special arrow over this bit here. And it's this number that I'm going to be interested in. So the 10 numbers, let's give myself the 2 options. What could the 2 possible answers be if I'm rounded to the nearest 10? 93,490. Okay, now this one, 93,400. What comes after? If I count up in 10, what comes after 90? 100. So it'd be 43,000. I'd have to go up to the next 100. 43,000. Why do I keep saying 43? 93,500. So I've got 93,490 is one option, or 93,500 is the other. Okay, so finding those 2 options is a really good way of helping you work out what the answer could be. So you've now got a 50-50 choice, 2 options, 1 or 2. Okay, so we look at this digit here because that's where my arrow is pointing. Do I round up or round down with a 5? Totally right, I round up. So the answer is 93,500. Okay, your turn. Remember the steps. Find the 2 possible options. Put your arrow, put your thing in there. So if we round to the nearest 10, you're going to draw around this bit, draw the arrow to this column. Okay, this is the one that's going to give you the clue. So find the options. That top tip that we've just talked about, find the 2 options. Okay, pause the screen, pause the video I should say, answer the questions, use the place value grid, use the arrows, use the 2 options. When you're done, unpause and we'll go through the answers. If you need to go back and look at the examples again, please do. Just keep going back, and if you're feeling really stuck, I'll have somebody for help, or keep watching the video and see how you get there. Okay, right. Ready, steady, pause. Okay, hopefully you've given those a go and you've rounded those to the nearest 10. Let's just go through the answers together. So 34 rounded to the nearest 10 was 30. 452 rounded to the nearest 10 was 450. 996 rounded to the nearest 10 was 1,000, it rounded up. 4,513 rounded down to 4,510. 9,951 rounded down to 9,950. 10,453 also rounded down to 10,450. 130,456 rounded up to 130,460. And 845,203 rounded down to 845,200. Pause the screen if you just need a little bit more time to check those answers. If you didn't get them right and you want to go back and just do that bit of the video again, please do. But keep working hard, okay? We're doing really well. Let's see what's next. So we've rounded to the nearest 10. The process of rounding to the nearest 100 is exactly the same, but all I've done, I'm going to change the colour now because I'm a bit bored of red. What have we got? Let's go for purple. Okay, what we've done is I've moved my special arrow, the circle, up to the hundreds column because I'm rounding to the nearest hundreds. So I found the hundreds column and I put it there, which tells me that I'm going to be looking at the tens. The tens are going to be the key number when rounding to the nearest 100. So let me put my 64 into my place value column. There we go. Doesn't matter that there's no hundreds here at the moment. It's okay, because that just tells me that I'm either going to round to 0, because that's the thing, or 100. Okay, that's the next 100. So I'm going to be looking at this column, and it's exactly the same thing. 66, it's fine. The digit 6 tells me I'm going to round up or down. Up, well done. So 64 rounded to the nearest 100 would be 100. Let's look at another one. I've got 113. Again, I've got my special arrow, I've got my hundreds, I'm rounding to the nearest 100, so that's there, and it goes to the next column. So this is the one I'm interested in. Right, so let's think about hundreds. So the closest one here is going to be 100. What's the next 100 number? 200, well done. So I've got 100 and 200. I'm going to look at this digit here. It's a 1 or a 10. What am I going to do? Round it 1 up or round down? Absolutely, I round 1 down. So 113 would round down to 100. Let's try another one together. We've got 256. You can see why place value grid might help. I've got my special circle and my special arrow, which tells me that I'm looking at this column, and I can underline this digit to help me out. Right, so my hundreds numbers, the options are going to be 200 or 300. Okay, I've got 50. What happens with 50? What happens with a 5? 5 rounds up. Well done for remembering that. 5 rounds up. So 5 rounds up, we're going to be rounding up to 300. Okay, does it matter when the number gets bigger? Nope, it's going to be absolutely fine. So I've got 5,978. Again, I've got my arrow, looking what column it is. This one. The 7 is going to be my 70 is going to help me. So the 100 numbers, I'm in the 5,000s. Of course, I've got 5,900. Okay, what comes after 900? Next 1,000, so it's going to be 6,000. Okay, so I've got my two options. I've got my 50-50, and it's a 7 or a 70. What's that going to do? Just 7 round up or just 7 round down? 7 rounds up. So I'm going to round it up to 6,000. Okay, right, you'll go. It's exactly the same process. Make sure you know which column you're looking at. We are focusing on these two here. Use that arrow to help you out. Round these to the nearest 100. Pause the video when you finish the questions. Unpause and we'll go through the answers. If you need to go back and look at it again and go through the process again, please do. Okay, ready, steady, pause. Okay, let's go through the answers. So 89 rounds up to 100. 456 rounds up to 500. 3,891 rounds up to 3,900. 45,210 rounds down to 45,200. 90,945 rounds down to 90,900. 123,321 rounds down to 123,300. 167,989 rounds up to 168,000. Well done for giving those a go. Right, I bet you can guess where we're going now. Nearest 1,000. Exactly the same process. I've just moved my special circle and arrow up one more. So we're looking at these two columns now. The 1,000 is what I'm rounding to. So I need to look at the 100 column. Okay, can you see how I've just gone, whoop, whoop, here it is. So let's put this in, 784. Okay, let's think about thousands numbers. Count up in 1,000. 0, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So 0, and then we said 1,000. Okay, so we always start with 0 if we've got no one here, because there's no thousands there. So we know it's going to be this number because that's where my arrow is pointing to, and it's 700. 700. Does 7 round up or does 7 round down? 7 rounds up. So this number, 784, is going to round up to 1,000. Let's do another one. 2,134. So again, we're rounding to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so we look at this number, look where the arrow is. So we've got 2,000, count up at 1,000. What's the next 1,000? 3,000, well done. So we've got 1 or a 10, or it's not even a 10, it's 100. 1 or 100. Does 1 round up or does 1 round down? 1 rounds down. So 2,134 would round down to 2,000. Let's do another one. 56,892. Again, I've got my arrow. I know I'm going to be looking at this one. What are the options going to be? Well, 56,000. And if we count up in thousands, it's going to be 57,000. Okay, we've got 800 or 8. 800, does 8 round up or does 8 round down? 8 rounds up. So we're going to round up to 57,000. Okay. If that was a bit quick, you can always go back, and remember you can always go through the video again. One more here. So we've got 129,995. We're quite high up in that number, so we're probably going to have to do a bit of swapping the thousands. We'll get there. So I'm looking at this one. So my options are 129,000 or 130,000. 29, 30. Does 9 round up or 900, or does it round down? Rounds up, well done. So 129,995 is the closest place for it to get, is 130,000. Okay, you'll go. Round these to the nearest 1,000. Remember, find the two options, use the arrow, and see how you do. Pause the video, go back if you need to look at it again, and then unpause when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, let's go through the answers. 567 rounds up to 1,000. 2,130 rounds down to 2,000. 3,890 rounds up to 4,000. 45,845 rounds up to 46,000. 912,900 rounds up to 913,000. 439,890 rounds up to 440,000. And 324,000, I was a bit sneaky there, stays the same at 324,000. Right, challenge questions, off you go. So, it's not 2. Let me just cross that out and put 1. Ignore that for a second, okay? Because I did this one and I was like, oh, I think I've confused myself. It's 1, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to round these numbers to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000. So 431 rounded to 10, 431 rounded to 100, 431 rounded to 1,000. One of these numbers, when it's rounded, will give you the same answer for all 3. Okay, that's what I want you to really find. So pause the screen. When you're ready, unpause and see the answers to the challenge question. Hello, well done for giving the challenge question a go. Super work. Okay, so these are the answers. I'm not going to run through them all, so you can just pause the screen and have a look and go through them, because otherwise it's a little bit boring. There's so many numbers for me to read out, okay, and it gets a bit confusing for you. But the number, which is the same when rounded to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000, was 90,001. So well done if you spotted that, and well done for giving the challenge question a go. So pause the screen to look at the answers if you want to. Great. And then, well done, you have done a great job today. Rounding can be really tricky sometimes, but once you've got that idea of 4 goes down, 4, 3, 2, 1 down, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up, it's really, really quite simple, whatever you're rounding to. So well done for working so hard. Well done for going with it. You've learned how to round to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000 and be efficient in how you do it. Great job. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next time. Have a lovely rest of your day.